Well, it's been a few days since the 2026 NHL trade deadline, and Elias Pettersson was not traded. Oh yeah, spoiler alert, wow, that's crazy, right? The trade deadline was a few days ago. We know Pettersson didn't get traded. But the fact that he is still a Vancouver Canuck allows us the opportunity to talk about what happens next with this guy. Because we had ourselves some updates, some conversations on some radio shows and others that really begin to articulate what the future could look like for Petey, and how Vancouver doesn't really seem like the destination for this dude long term. But before we dive into that, let's talk about yesterday's hockey game between the Vancouver Canucks and the Ottawa Senators, where the Canucks got shut out on home ice, and we saw fans in the building chanting, "Go Sens go." Yeah, it's the second time that Vancouver has chanted for the opposing team against the Canucks at Rogers Arena. The first time it was "Let's go Oilers," and now it's "Go Sens go." Not that there is a gigantic portion of Senators fans in this city, but you can kind of see where the cynicism of Canucks fans is coming from these days. Let's take a look at some Elias Pettersson plays from last night. Lachlan Irvin, Lock in the crease, went out there and posted this video. A lot of good things in that last Elias Pettersson shift. Here's a shift where Pettersson goes out there, he delivers a nice reverse hit, takes out his guy. Then, a few seconds later, Pettersson goes to the front of the net. Then he blocks a shot. It's a tough one, but he skates it off and he continues pouncing. He picks up the puck, speeds right down Main Street, before executing a nice little give and go. Pettersson receives the puck in tight, then throws it out in front for Jake DeBrusk, who has a wide open net to shoot at, but DeBrusk ends up missing the net. It's a really nice showcase here of talent, and Elias Pettersson was able to do some pretty good things. A lot of good things in that last Elias Pettersson shift, Lachlan said. Brady went out there and responded to this video saying, "Unfortunately, these are too few and far between, but this was a glimpse of what Pettersson used to play like. Good overall sequence. Tough finishing luck does not result in a point." He also had this video posted by Sapster. Elias Pettersson says, "Wow, DeBrusk is wide open. Let me send this cross-ice pass." DeBrusk says, "Yeah, let me Cody CC this one real quick. Go back to your old stick length, Jake. I beg." Here's a video where Elias Pettersson is able to free himself up. He does a really nice little reverse hit to open up space and to keep control of the puck before sending it over to DeBrusk, who walks right in. He shoots and he goes well wide. It is up and over onto the corner. It's the old Cody CC and he missed by a mile shot. This video was met by some response from Jack Hahn. That was a great play from Elias Pettersson to absorb the hit with his backside before making the cross-ice pass. Whichever team ends up with him next should know that he's able to play in traffic and take contact, as long as it's on his own terms. Sap then replied, "Whichever team ends up with him next." Yeah, that hurts. The same way it hurt with Horvat. The same way it hurt with Kuzmenko. The same way it hurts with Hughes. Heck, the same it hurts with JT. The Canucks suck at evaluating their own players, not only when it comes to their trade value, but what their strengths and weaknesses are. Petey's best trait off the rush is his facilitating. His best asset off the cycle is cross-ice passes, usually right half wall to the far side point, and attacking downhill off of contact. All's this to say is that Elias Pettersson displayed some genuine qualities of skill and some talented moments in yesterday's hockey contest. Now, the bar is very low for a guy making $11.6 million a season, when I can sit here and say that, "Oh yeah, he had 2 good clips, that's a great play," is the baseline. Yeah, I understand he's making $11.6 million a year. He should be having clip-worthy highlights every single game. But the reality is, he just doesn't do that. He doesn't have moments that are tweetable or tweet-worthy like the ones posted by Lachlan and Edward here on Twitter. He doesn't have moments like these that often. So when he does have them, it's like, there's a glimpse as to what he could be like if he's just playing his best. And so with all that said, let's dive into the actual trade update part of Elias Pettersson, because I know that's what y'all clicked on this YouTube video here for. Take a look at what Sportsnet 590 The Fan tweeted out. It's Real Kipper and Bourne, the show out there in Toronto. They had Donnie and Dolly's Rick Dollywall on the program to talk about Elias Pettersson and the Vancouver Canucks' future. I had one team tell me that if Vancouver would take $2.6 or $3 million in retention on Pettersson, they'd think about it. But the deadline is not where you add an $11.6 million player. And for the most part, I would absolutely agree with that sentiment. Not necessarily the $2.6-3 million retention slot, but the fact that Petey is the player that he is so controversial, he is paid so much, and he is so unproductive for the contract. This is a guy that might benefit the most from an off-season change of scenery, a July 1st change of scenery, where a team can let this guy fully settle in with his new market, give him a regiment, give him an attractive plan for the summer that he can follow and potentially build into for the next season. Not an opportunity where you bring Elias Pettersson on as a playoff contender and you're trying to get the best out of a guy who's already struggling as you try to make Lord Stanley's Grail happen one more time. It would have been a really crazy risk for a team to take Elias Pettersson on at this year's deadline, assuming they are a playoff contender and they want to win with this guy in the now. Elias Pettersson may need to go through a year or two of mental reform, just changing the way he thinks about hockey and changing the way he trains in order to become what it was that he once was at the NHL level. I mean, it's tough, but I really do think that Rick Tocchet and, in a way, JT Miller kind of ruined the way this guy's able to play. Between him bulking so much over last offseason to all the drama from last season as well, with the player infighting and the coaching staff not being able to bring the best out of this guy. I mean, I'm not saying that an Andrei Kuzmenko reunion is going to be the best thing ever for him and that it'll automatically fix Petey. But as we can see out of these videos and what we usually see throughout the course of the past few weeks is that Pettersson still has skill. Pettersson still has the tools to be an effective player. 11.6 is really, really high for him. But maybe if there is a world where Elias is feeling good about his game again, or he starts to feel it in the same way that he did a few years ago, maybe there is a world where he does play back up to that standard. But for now, it doesn't look like teams are willing to take that risk, especially not at this year's deadline. $2.6 or $3 million retained? Absolutely not. There's no way the Vancouver Canucks feel good about that. The contract goes on till 2032. You don't want to be paying this guy for 5 years, $3 million a year to do nothing on your payroll. That is an absolute disaster. Although, I will say, it's not like Vancouver is really using their salary cap space for anything else these days, aren't they? So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Elias Pettersson trade update, how it does seem like the summer could be, would be, should be the timeline for an Elias Pettersson trade, and how this guy is still providing value for the Canucks, even though it doesn't really show up on the score sheet as much as it probably should. Thanks, Jake DeBrusk, for fanning on these 2 grade A chances from EP40. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.